guys? It is Cassandra. I'm here with my buddy Chad Scott, and I'm a relationship coach, and I inspire men to create incredible memories with their loved ones.
Yes, like she said, I'm Chad Scott, relationship, life coach, and very big on accountability and being an accountability partner.
Yes. So I want to talk to Chad a little bit about. So Chad is the ring man.
I heard that before.
How many rings do you got so far?
So far, we at 20 rings.
So he has not proposed to 20 women.
Not at all.
But what is the 20 rings? Why don't you tell everybody what these?
So real quick. So what ended up happening was I started helping women before I became a life relationship coach to date better. And basically the focus was more about self-esteem, and from self-esteem start building out.
Got you.
And from there, those women took my advice, and when they started navigating dating, they started dating someone and got to the rings. So every time they get a ring, I will post on my Instagram page. I don't usually tag their name. Right. I just show the ring, and I make a little comment about my experience and that experience.
Yes.
So then what happens is once I post a ring, sometimes they out themselves. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Chad. I'm like, because I didn't want a guy to feel like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody behind the scenes.
Right.
But they be out there so like, thank you for the ring. And then that's when people inbox me like, I want one too. But they ain't ready to do the work.
Right, got you.
So I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. You know,
so speaking of doing the work, what do you think gets in the way of people like doing the work / being where they need to be mentally to have a successful relationship? Like, what's the thing that you think most women mess up at?
I think what happens with most women is the fact of they trying to beat the clock.
Okay.
So
what's the clock?
Well, the clock means having a kid, having a family, what society pressuring them to be, that at a certain age you should be with someone and be married.
Got you.
So what happens a lot of times where in talking to them, they will like a guy and feel like he's the quote unquote one without earnestly at the table, without really having a real conversation about building each other, but because they like them and they feel like they're beating the clock. They're like, I'm gonna grab him up. And I'm like, no, you still have to date.
Yeah.
Even though me personally, I hate the honeymoon stage, there's still a process that need to happen, and they want to skip the process because they get smitten by the person, or they end up having sex and they're like, nah, he's the one.
Yeah. So
I think that a lot of times what trip them up is being accountable, but also getting caught up in that society. Like if I'm over 30, 35.
But here's the thing, right? There is a biological element to the whole clock, right? So like, how do you get around that rhythm?
So I think that what I also do is, it depends on the person. Everybody's different, but I'm very big on a woman dating multiple men.
Me too.
So you don't mean you have sex with everybody.
Me too.
But it gives you the time because you don't have the same luxury.
Correct.
To invest the 6 months here.
Correct.
Then that or 2 years here.
No, you crazy.
So you want to at least date someone to the point that you want to take it to that level.
Correct.
But some people don't have that focus. Yeah. And I get it. That's why you got to vet them differently.
So, but why do you think dating multiple men outside of the time commitments, why do you think it works?
I think it works because it gives you a little sense of what you like and what you're looking for.
Gotcha.
It gives you a time to really see what's out there. It gives you a time to really see how they move and get the time to know the person.
Right. So
people get caught up in the instant gratification, the instant vibes, and see within dating how that person is character-wise. I always talk about consistency is great and actually great in words. We have to find ways to learn that person's character. So what happens is we get caught up in the honeymoon stage, or we get caught up in the quick fix, and because we like that person, we try to get tunnel vision, and it limits you.
And they get mad.
But how does it come when it comes to you learning that lesson? How did you learn that lesson about the vetting and getting to know that person? Or
so I'm a big believer in vetting by dating multiple men, and I'll tell you why I feel it works. All right. I think I agree with you in terms of like you're exposed to a lot more personalities, a lot more characters, and you don't have the time to get obsessed. You're so divided, and naturally what happens is there'll be one person that you gravitate towards. And hopefully if you are healthy, right, you're emotionally healthy, you'll gravitate towards the one who's really courting you according to your liking. Yeah. Which means that they're not avoiding you, ignoring you, and now you're chasing. You're chasing the love because you're wondering, why isn't okay, I have these 10 guys that I'm talking to, why is this one guy elusive? If you're doing that, stop dating. Just stop. Just stop. We got to start from scratch. But if it's somebody who's like really like tickling your fancy, you know what I'm saying? They got the right character. You like their family. They making you smile, or whatever the case is. They got their stuff together.
Yeah.
That's the person you'll find yourself creating more time for them.
Yes.
And also, what I like about that is that as a woman and feminine energy, what happens is like we need to be exposed to a lot of masculine energy to get into our feminine.
Got it.
So if you're around a lot of women who are boss ladies, boss babes, or whatever the case is, that's women in their masculine energy, which is cool because it's very productive.
Yeah.
But that doesn't put you in a position to learn how to relax and to allow a man to provide so that you can receive, because feminine energy receives.
Got it.
So when you're around, when I'm open to dating, I'll entertain multiple men. It don't matter if they have $3. It doesn't matter if he has $300,000. I will entertain all of them to a degree. Meaning, the guy who got $3, he might say, "Hey, beautiful, how are you?" I'm not gonna look at him like, "Ew, who is you? Like, do you see what I look like? Like, what the hell do you think?" My response is, "Thank you, I appreciate that." I'm very, loving and warm and open, and that initial open door will bring you to the dude that got a higher bracket and better character, because you remain open to receive and open to love.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think that even though it's time is, as you date, you also get to know you more. And then see what works and what not works.
But see, I don't think people pay attention to that.
Not at all.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This is what's... in the process of dating, it should be...
You should be paying attention.
Yes,
right.
But they don't.
They don't.
They get caught up in the moment. So I think that it allows you... No. This is open space. Right. Safe space.
Safe space. No,
so yeah, but it's give people the opportunity now to really learn yourself as you get exposed to different people. But if you're not built for that, you date one person at a time. That means you really have to take the time. Listen, but some people can't do it.
Okay, that's true.
Some people just can't date multiple people.
That's
in their
true.
head, they just can't fathom that.
Right.
They start to have the same conversation. You know, because even when you date multiple people, you almost have the same conversation over and over again. You got to remember, I told him that.
Yeah.
So if you're not built for that, right? This is for people that's not built for it. I think what's important is you really have to vet that person and have the uncomfortable conversation. We'll talk more about that later.
Yeah.
But have the uncomfortable conversation fast and in a hurry.
Right.
And also be careful how sex could change things.
Exactly.
If you're not built for it. Because now, once you have sex, some women look at sex as a contract signing.
Right.
So once you put it in, it's like, we together now. And then now they move in that way when the guy told you he's not looking for it.
Exactly.
So that's it.
So what do you do? So, okay, you get a woman, the clock is ticking, and now it sounds like a gong. Every time it ticks. It's not even a tick no more. It's a big blast. She don't want to date a lot of dudes, but this clock is ticking. How does she get through this?
So if it's one of the things where it's on your list, you want to be in a relationship, that means that you may have to, some people are old school, right? And they want the man to come to them. But you can still be that way, but you just have to be more progressive and put yourself in positions to find the kind of caliber of man you're looking for.
How does she do that?
So even with dating apps, is really trying to vet that, or go to places where you like.
Right.
So if you're a museum person, or you like to go to network events, or wherever you like.
COVID.
This is...
I'm like,
COVID.
where are people going?
But in the COVID world, but once outside opens up, you have to be in the space.
Yes.
Of the man of caliber you like.
Yes.
But during COVID, like I said, dating apps, people hate dating apps, but dating apps is allow you to really vet people that you normally won't interact with.
Correct.
Because some people go, we live in New York City, so people go to work and go home.
Definitely.
So within that, or you gotta find somebody during the commute. And sometimes we don't really talk to strangers during the commute. So
definitely not.
So this is why it's allowed us with dating apps and really being in that kind of bubble to really vet these people. And also, I give advice with dating apps. When you get to a point where you sound like that guy and it's feeling good, you gotta have FaceTime. Like FaceTime that person, because there have been times where girls get caught up in the text and the phone calls, and they see the person in person like, oh, dude.
I don't like FaceTime.
Why not? I
don't like opening that. It's a can of worms.
So you rather talk on the phone, say you're doing dating app, you rather talk on the phone, text, but meet that person, meet them that way.
Yes.
Why you think the video chat is weird?
So I'm old school.
All right.
Right? I'm old school, and I feel like don't come to my house unannounced.
Okay.
I feel like when you FaceTime me, you're at my door, and I don't feel like answering.
All right. I'm not talking about far as...
And I think that in this culture of people having an immense, mind you, realize something, right? Because I was in a time warp.
I got it. Welcome back.
The last time I was dating, you know what I'm saying, before I got divorced and everything like that, was we talking about 2003, 2004.
Got it.
So to go from 2004 to 2020, that's a big gap.
I got you.
That was back when I was dating. There was caller ID.
Got it. You did a bid, so now you coming back home. Yeah.
Now people want to FaceTime you. Like, I could be in the bathroom. I could be doing anything. I could be with my child. I could be getting dressed. It feels right. It doesn't necessarily mean that it feels intrusive.
Got it.
And on top of that, I find that is this thing on? Yeah. Okay, I find that gentlemen are becoming sensitive. In a way.
Okay. Go ahead.
And I'm going to say why. And I don't blame men. I feel like it's the times we're in.
All right.
So if I don't answer your call, I could be doing nothing. I don't have a reason why I didn't pick up my phone.
Okay.
Except for the fact that I don't feel like it. And so what people are doing is they go on Instagram, they go on WhatsApp to see your timestamp.
Okay.
And so I'll get you was up since 6:03 a.m.
Right.
I saw when you logged on, and you ain't saying now it's 10 a.m.
All right.
It's just too much.
No, so I don't advise any man or any woman, if you don't have a relationship with that person, to FaceTime them.
Correct.
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
But as you're dating and getting to know each other, y'all can schedule a FaceTime thing. And now with COVID, it's one of the things now where a lot of people do kind of FaceTime dates.
Okay.
So so with those dates, when they order food, you can eat and have a little chit chat or watch a movie together.
I have done that.
See?
I did do a Zoom date.
In those moments, you get to see a little bit of the vibes.
But still didn't do nothing.
You need a real thing.
Have you done a Zoom date or like a face? Or are you dating?
No, I'm not dating right now.
Okay. All right.
But
I did that, and I thought, and I want to say this. It was crazy, right? Because same thought. This is my experience, y'all. I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just saying. So, dope dude, there was sparks everywhere on Zoom. And we finally met in person, there was no sparks anywhere. It was the weirdest thing.
No, I'm saying, but that's why sometimes I say you got to meet the person, right? Because sometimes you get a fantasy in your head, and like you said, yes, they're getting to know each other kind of way. Then you FaceTime each other, like, oh, this feels like, oh my God, this is something, because that's a new experience.
True.
Then you meet that person, it don't translate because now they're scared or they're nervous, intimidated.
That might have been what it was.
Being out, seeing someone is different. Talking on camera or whatever, you can have a comfortable, but some people ain't comfortable on camera. But he probably was comfortable and charming on the camera, but you saw in real life, you're like, oh, this is happening.
Right.
So yeah,
definitely that's what.
But happened. Like I said, when it comes to those roadblocks, to finish up, what you want to talk about when it comes to
beating the clock.
Beating the clock.
So how do you suggest people safely slow down so that they don't allow the clock? What's your final tips?
Be conscious of it.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing with people is you don't know why you want it so bad. You want it because society, or you feel like you got the clock, or you want a kid, whatever those things is. I think you need to be mindful of, is this person somebody I really care about, or I'm just doing it for the ring?
Right.
Or I'm doing it just for the kid.
Right.
Because what happens a lot of times is those relationships don't really end well.
Yeah.
And it's more trouble than it's worth.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you have to be real honest. That's why I'm worried about living your truth. You have to be really honest what you're looking for and what you're seeing, because you're doing it just for that goal. Because one girl, when it came to the relationship thing, she got the ring, and I'm like, I told her not to marry that guy. But she's like, nah, Chad, I want the ring, I want to get married, he got money. And it didn't pan out quickly. They got divorced in a year or two.
Wow.
So in those mindsets, like you said, because you want that quick fix.
Right.
And you got to be careful with that. So I just think anybody that trying to figure out this clock, or I feel like I'm 35, I'm 40, I should be to get... Focus on what you're looking for, your goals, and try to date properly, date with a purpose, but get to know that person instead of doing it because you want that other thing. Right. And not the actual person itself.
Right. I would say two things. One is you can, so as a relationship coach, I would suggest that you keep a couple things in mind. One is you can control your actions, but you cannot control the consequences. A lot of times people say things like, oh, well, you can meet somebody at a bar and be married for 20 years. You could date somebody for 5 years and get divorced in 1 year after the first year of marriage. All those things are true. You can't control the consequences. So be mindful about what you're really getting yourself into. And make sure that it's true for you and not one of those like impulsive moments. And outside of that, I would say have fun. It is life.
It is.
Like, don't take it too seriously, but be mindful. And finally, go according to the alignment. Don't think about where you are. Think about where you're going. Yeah. I think that people sometimes date too much in the moment and they don't date for the future.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So with what you were talking about earlier with where you go, say for example, you've never really been to a museum, you just didn't grow up like that, but you want to be cultured.
Yeah.
You want to have those experiences. Then don't date anybody that is a homebody like you. Go out and become the person that you want to see yourself so that you can meet the kind of people that are in those environments. And it's likely that the people that you're meeting may not be the one that you're dating, but they might know somebody that knows somebody, and that might be your person.
Got it.
That is all. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Let us know in the comments below if you've ever felt like the clock is like chasing you. Do you know anyone that fell into that? Were they successful? Did it work out? Share us what your experiences are, and be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you. Anything else?
I'm good.
We good? Okay, sure.